Last week we looked at the more traditional family structure and diversity. This week we're going to be learning and reading about less traditional type families, which you have in your church and you have in your classrooms. These non-traditional families are becoming much more traditional. These family structures include teenage single-parent families, divorced single-parent families, step families, families with special needs, and gay and lesbian families. These different family structures reach across all the people groups. There are other family structures not mentioned in your text, but you probably have them in your class or your church and your neighborhood. The first type could be a family with a mom and a dad who are not married to each other, and each one has children. I can remember at a Sunday school gathering asking a couple how long they'd been married, and oops, they weren't. I quit asking. Another family may include a man and his girlfriend, or a mom and her boyfriend whom the kids don't call mom or dad, or a mom and dad with revolving significant others. The third type of family is the one where grandparents are the parents, and parents may or may not be involved in the children's lives. Divorce is now much more prevalent. We have the same percentage of divorce inside as outside the church, and divorce is very tragic for children. Many times the children feel like they're the ones who've been divorced. Sometimes the custodial parent's not even a wise choice. We haven't even mentioned the abusive home, the home where mom abuses dad or dad abuses mom, even if the children aren't abused. Sometimes one of the parents is in jail. All of these things have huge effects on the family and on the children. Then think about your children who are in urban areas compared to children in rural areas. They don't have the same problems or issues, and consequently, they don't learn the same, and you don't have the same type of classroom management. Maslow's hierarchy is at work in both of these areas. If you're aware of the family structures, it helps you to understand the children. Do the children spend every other weekend with a different parent? Are there multiple grandparents? One of my sixth graders invited 4 sets of grandparents to Grandparents' Day. Knowing this information will help you understand more about the student's home life and will help you with serving and understanding the family, which is the subject of chapter 15. As you read about the different types of families to whom you may minister, concentrate on those with which you're least familiar and think about how to best share the gospel with them. In the resources on this page, I've given you a link to a 2015 dissertation by a Liberty University student that shows that the church and church ministries are still ignorant regarding single people and the needs of single people, especially single parents in the church. Everything seems to be focused on the traditional family. I have single friends who feel like they have trouble finding a good support group, whatever church they go to. The needs of a single parent are much different than those of traditional parents, where there's a husband and a wife in the family. When they teach about issues of husbands and wives, and the Bible does talk about husbands and wives, those things are hard for your single parents as well as your single people in church who are not married. There are other resources that are available, Faith Radio, Primary Care Coalition, and there are many other organizations that try to work with blended or step families. Families with special needs can find solutions in larger churches, but many times smaller churches don't have a special curriculum or classes for these children, or the adults do not know how to work with them in an inclusion class. Acting out in church is pretty much a no-no, and a couple of times of being stared at or shushed, and families with special needs are just looking for a new church, and some tend just to give up. So as we think about family structure and all the different types of family structures that are possible in America today, there are a myriad of them. And I probably haven't covered all of them in this short video, but I want us to go back and remember the fact that God instituted the family. He said for the man to leave his family and cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And that's the way God meant for it to be. But just like sin has marred everything else, it's also marred that family structure. But remember, even though the family structure is marred and that the type of family you see may not be the type of family that you feel is a biblical family, it's still a family. And all of those family members can be redeemed. Christ died for each one. all of the different variant types of families that exist today and cause children and adults to be hurt are just a result of sin, and everyone sins, even Christians. So as we think about these different family structures and how they affect not only each other but affect us as teachers and ministering to them, we need to think about how can we best minister to them? How can I best help that student in my class? Or how can I best help that person that I need to minister to? So as you're thinking about those things and you work through the assignments this week, I want you to also think about your community analysis project. I'm not going to have you post the part 1, but you need to finish part 1 this week, because you need to be able to finish it, have it completely done, and then be ready to get into the analysis. And you'll post both of them during week 4. If you have any questions, please let me know.